Jira admin09, and this is one of the new Gmail account that I have created. So once I have logged in using this particular credentials, I can paste the URL and let me click on enter. It will take us directly to the Atlassian page where we can access the Jira cloud environment. I can see the Jira software. It is a project management and an issue tracking tool. And here it clearly says it is a free plan and it supports up to 10 users, and we can make an use of 2 GB of storage, and it is always free and no credit card needed. So we can directly make an use of the Jira cloud environment for free in order to test it, or maybe in order to work on it for a while. So we have selected the Jira software and let me click on next. And here is the place we have to click on continue with Google. So whatever the Gmail account that we have created and we have signed in this particular browser, we can select while we are choosing this particular option. Let me click on continue with Google. And here whatever the Gmail account that I have created, I will be selecting it. Alright, and here it is asking me for the confirmation. It displays the email address and the full name that has been connected with this particular email address. And now we are going to create an account for the Jira. So let me click on create your account. Alright, so while we are creating an account, it displays the Gmail account on the top, and below we have to enter the site name on whatever the site that we would like to have. So whatever the name that we enter here, going forward, maybe from tomorrow, whenever we access the Jira environment, like how we type the word www.google.com or facebook.com, or whatever the name that we type here, we will be making a use of the same URL going forward so that we can access the Jira cloud environment. Basically, it is an URL that we are going to access from the next time. So let me enter some Jira, maybe add yourself 09. Alright, so Jira add yourself 09.atlassian.net is going to be the URL that we can use for our Jira cloud environment site. So let me copy this and paste it in the notepad. If I want in future, I can make an use of it. And if I use any full stops or any other keywords, maybe it will show as a red mark. So it is always mandatory to make an use of only the numbers and the letters, not any other keywords. So if it is green and if we get the tick mark, that is really good. So let me click on agree. Alright, so before accessing the Jira cloud environment, they want to take some kind of maybe feedback or the experience from us. Like if we are new to the team, we can always skip the question, or if we are really belongs to a particular sector like software development or IT support, we can make an use of it. It's completely optional. I can skip the question anytime, and it is asking what is your role if you are using Jira. For now, I want to skip all these questions. It is only the survey or maybe the feedback taken by the Jira in order to maybe improve their products. Now, as I can see, the site is loading and it is being started up. It might take about a minute, so let's wait until it gets loaded. Alright, as we can see, now the URL is whatever the name that we have pasted in the notepad, right? Jira eduyourself09.atlassian.net. So going forward, if we want to access the Jira Cloud environment, we can make a use of this URL directly. And now it is asking few more feedbacks like are you new to Jira or maybe are you experienced with Jira? Either we can answer or we can directly skip the questions. Anything would be fine. Alright, now again before accessing to the Jira homepage, there are few things that we have to do. We clearly know that Jira is a project management tool, right? When I use the word project, in the Jira software, all we can see is the projects and the configurations inside it. So before accessing Jira for the very first time, we have to definitely create one of the project, and once we create the project, only then we will be able to access the home page, and it is mandatory for the first time for all the users. So here it is asking to add some project details, the name of the project and maybe an unique key for the project. Imagine that I want to give the project name as Ed Yourself, and automatically it will be taking the first two keywords for this particular project so that we can make an use of the keyword anytime in future, and we will be learning about how to make an use of the project key. And we have given the name of the project and then the project key, and after that, as we can see in the right side, I can see the name of the template and then the project type. For now, forget about what is a template and what are the different types of projects that we have. I can see the word Kanban and I can see the word team managed. So probably going forward, we will be discussing about what exactly is the Kanban template and what exactly is the team managed. And for now, let me click on create project. Alright, now a project has been created, but even before we access to the Jira homepage, it is asking like would you like to connect your Jira software or your Jira tool with any other teams for collaboration purpose. Maybe the Microsoft Teams, Slack, Zendesk, maybe if you want to connect to these external tools, you can. If not, you can skip directly, and that is what it's stating. So I do not want to connect my Jira application to any other tools at the moment. So let me skip even this option. And it is asking me, now you have created your own Jira environment. Now in Jira, multiple people can work at a time, right? If you have your friends, you are using the free Jira cloud environment, so you can add up to 10 users. If you want to send request to any of your friends, you can directly enter their email address so that directly they can be receiving the acceptance request in the Gmail. If they accept, they will be the part of this particular Jira instance. And for now, I do not want to add any of the team members. I will be performing that activity later once I access the Jira cloud environment page. For now, let me click on done. And we have successfully landed on the Jira cloud environment. As we can see, it did not even take maybe 1 or 2 minutes of time to access the Jira cloud environment. And it is asking, since you have landed onto this page for the very first time, would you like to take the tour or maybe explore by myself? Let me click on explore by myself. And let's wait in this particular page. As we have created the project, we have directly landed into the project page. So before talking about the project in Jira, let me click on the name Jira software so that it will be taking us to the Jira homepage. And now I want to discuss about what will be on the Jira homepage, and later we will be talking about what will be inside the project. And now, as we can see, this is how the Jira homepage will looks like. And the first mandatory thing that we can do whenever we access the Jira cloud environment is that we have to save this particular URL so that it will be saved anytime in future. We can access directly by making an use of the bookmark. And if we forget to save this particular URL, we might forget, right, whatever the name that we have given, and it will become a maybe a little bit difficult task for us. So let me click on the URL. It saved the full detail. So on my keyboard, I will be entering, or maybe I'll be pressing Ctrl D, D for Delta, and a bookmark it is being shown, and I can give the name of the bookmark as maybe Jira Yourself 09, and let me click on Done. Now I have created a bookmark. So what exactly the bookmark does, whenever we access the browser from the next time, once we close the whole browser, if we open any other tab, we can directly see the bookmark being displayed on this particular page. So instead of typing Jira Yourself 09.atlassian.net all the time, we can directly click on the bookmark. So it will be taking us directly to the Jira homepage. And it is one of the good shortcut that we can use in order to avoid confusions on what is the URL that we have typed at the time of account creation. So this is one of the keyword. Now we quickly talk about what's on the Jira homepage. Alright, the very first button is switch to button, and if I click on it, it will show me few things like switch to Jira software, Jira work management. I can see some other names like Confluence, Jira service management, option Slack, and few other things. But what exactly this particular button means? Alright, now we are in the Jira software. In organizations, people will be working on multiple tools, right? Not just on one tool. Apart from Jira, maybe their site has been connected to the other Atlassian tool called Confluence, which is mostly used for the documentation purpose. So in the Confluence, all we can see is the documentations. So if any user, or maybe if any admin or any other person who's working in Jira, if they want to quickly access any kind of documentation, they can directly click on Confluence. If we have integrated, or maybe if we connected our Jira application or maybe Jira software to the Confluence. So instead of opening the new tab and entering the Confluence URL, just by clicking on switch to, and if we click on Confluence, we will be taken to that particular software. So instead of switching tabs, it is one of the shortcut that we can make an use of it. So we will be learning about how to connect our Confluence with Jira in the upcoming sessions. For now, all you have to understand only the use case. And the second option is Jira software. Alright. Now in whichever the page we are, if we want to come directly back to the home page, we can always click on the Jira software, so that no matter in which page we are, we will be landing on the very home page. It's like our Android phone or Apple phone. If we have the home button, no matter which game we are playing or which application we are, if we click on the home button, we will be coming back to the home page, right? The same thing applicable even to the Jira software. And before talking about any other thing, at the very first time of the account creation, we can see the Jira software and we can see the favicon. When I use the term favicon, it is nothing but the logo of the Jira software. I can see the same logo being displayed, right? And it is completely customizable on how we would like to design our Jira homepage. Here I can see the theme blue and white. We can completely change it to green, pink, yellow, orange, or any other colors. It's completely customizable. Maybe if we go to HCL, and if you're working for HCL directly and HCL is making a use of Jira, instead of the word Jira software, we can see the term HCL and we can see maybe some logo that given by HCL. And we will be seeing on how to customize the Jira homepage. And always remember, it is not the activity that we will be doing in organizations, because wherever we go, maybe it might be any company, definitely they will be making an use of Jira, right? Which means the Jira has been installed in the companies long back. At the time of installations or maybe at the time of setup, the Jira admin who's taking care of that part might have already designed on how the homepage needs to be looked like. So we will not be involving in such kind of activities 99.9% of the time, because if the Jira has already been set up, we no need to do anything. All we can do is to work on the regular works. But in our classes, we will be seeing the activity on how to customize the Jira homepage at the initial stages. And now the second one, I can see the word your work. Alright, Jira is a project management tool. And in the project, what will happen? The project lead or the project admin who is managing the project, they will be creating some work and they will be assigning it to their team members. So Jira can be used by any team member, right? Anybody who have the access to the Jira software. It might be Mahesh, or it might be any other person, or even it might be me. So if I access the Jira using my credentials, now I have logged in as Jira admin 09. If any work has been assigned on my name, I will be able to see the list of issues or maybe the list of work items here exactly. And I can see what are the recent projects that I have viewed, what are the recent boards that I have viewed, and few other. And do not worry about the term boards. We will be explaining what exactly the board means. But all you have to understand is that if you open anything, you will be able to see in this particular option. If any work has been assigned on your name, you will be able to see in this particular section. And it's completely depends whether you can make an use of this particular option or not in future, and it completely depends upon what activity that we are doing in organizations. And once we are going forward, we will be able to understand what exactly that we can see in this particular place. And the very next option is projects. Now we clearly know Jira is a project management tool. So whatever the projects that we have created as an admin, we will be able to see all the list of projects in this particular option. Now we have created only one project so far, and we have opened that project right at the very first time. So I can see the name of the project in my recent, and below the project I can see view all projects. So if I click on view all projects, I can see the name of the project, I can see the favicon or the logo of the project, and I can see the project key, and I can see the type of project, and I can see who is the project lead. Now if there are hundreds of projects, each project will have its own unique project leads, right? So one thing that you have to remember, in Jira, the projects will be created only by the Jira admins, not by any others. So we are going to be the Jira admins. So after we join the organizations, if anybody comes to us and say we want to have a new project, we will be taking few details like the project name, project key, and project lead, and few other details, and we will be creating the projects. And by default, whenever we create the project, we will become the project lead, so that if anybody gives the project lead name, we will be updating their name in place of project lead, so that I can see Cecile or Mahesh or any other names as the project leads. And we will be learning on how to create a project in Jira very shortly. So that is the time we will be seeing some other things like the type and few other things we will be discussing while we are creating the projects. For now, all you have to understand is that the recent projects can be seen under this particular option, and we can see the list of all projects that was ever created in the Jira instance by clicking on view all projects. And coming to create project, we will be discussing it shortly on how to create a project in Jira. And for now, all you have to understand is that nobody in Jira can be having the access to create the projects except the Jira admin. And we are going to be the Jira admin, so we will be getting the full rights. So we are the person who's going to create the projects in any organizations. Alright, and the next one is filters, and let me close the second tab. Alright, now what exactly a filter in Jira means? In order to explain that, let me open the paint. Alright, now imagine that this is going to be the Jira software. Alright, Jira software is all about projects, right? We can see multiple projects. Maybe just imagine out of hundreds of projects, imagine that I have 3 projects. Imagine that a single person is working on 3 projects for some reason. So in all the 3 projects, the project leads or anyone will be assigning the work items onto that particular person, right? Imagine that the same person is having some work in all the 3 projects. Now we don't know, right, in some of the scenarios, or maybe we clearly know that there are hundreds of projects. Now what exactly a filter in Jira means? Filter means it is nothing but filter out something. And what is that something? So in Jira, we are going to have the issues. Issues are nothing but work items. So we can filter out the issues. So by making an use of the filter, we can define project is equal to, we will be giving the project names, maybe ABC, XYZ and DEF, all these 3 project names. And maybe we can filter out the issues that belongs to one particular assignee. So I can give the name assignee is equal to Cecile. And maybe I want to filter out something like what are the issues that are closed by Cecile. So maybe I can give the term status is equal to closed. So do not confuse about what I am writing here. Just understand the concept at the moment, and we will be spending 1 day of time on how to filter out the issues on an appropriate session. All you have to understand from the filter option is that if we are having thousands and lakhs of issues, and if we want to pull the issues that belongs to maybe one user or 2 users out of multiple projects, or maybe out of single project, we can make an use of the issue filters. And we will be navigating to view all filters, and we will be navigating to the advanced issue search in one of the session, where we are going to spend some 1 hour of time in mastering the filters topic. For now, just understand what exactly is a filter means in Jira. Search for issues across all projects and save them as filters. So when I click on dashboard, I can see view all dashboards and create dashboards. Dashboard is nothing but, now when I click on the Jira software, I can see your work, right? And under your work, I can see whatever the things that I have opened, or maybe something else. Now when I click on view, whatever the things that I have viewed, it's showing. And if I click on assign to me, if any work items or if any issues that are assigned to my name, I will be able to see it. And if I click on start, maybe if I make anything as important as star mark or something like that, it will be displaying. Now if I log in as Jira admin 09, whatever the issues that belongs to Jira admin 09 will be displayed. If I log in as Cecile, whatever the issues that has been assigned on Cecile's name, Cecile will be able to see it. The headings, everything will be same, but the activity will be completely relies on each profile. Everybody can see the same screen name, but everybody see their own data in it. So on the dashboard, we can keep some gadgets, we can keep some filters, so that we can see the data that has been constant, or maybe that can varies based upon the filters or gadgets that we use. So each and every Jira will have its own Jira homepage, and we can call it as a default dashboard. So whatever the gadgets that we place on the default dashboard can be seen by all the Jira users. And even as a project, I can create my own Jira project dashboard. Maybe I can share it with 5 people, so that whatever the gadgets or whatever filters or anything that I place on the dashboard will be making a use of those 5 people. And we will be spending one day on how to create the dashboard and what exactly is a dashboard in Jira. So right now we are discussing about the Jira homepage. So now we are only knowing the use cases of what is what, and we are not going in depth. And each and everything that we are seeing right here will take definitely about one day or 2 days of time to master everything. And now the next option is people. We can create the team, we can add people, and if we want to have a conversation, we can make an use of this particular option. But in organizations, people most probably do not make an use of this particular option, because in organizations, people will be people will be collaborating on maybe Microsoft Outlook, which will be used as a mail communication. People might be using Zoom, like how we are doing it, they can chat there. Maybe they can make an use of Microsoft Teams most probably. Or maybe they can use some other communication channels like Slack or something. But this is one of the feature given by Jira, but I did not see anybody making a use of this particular feature. It is very simple. Anyone can create the team if they have the option, and they can add some people and they can have their conversations over there. Nothing much important. And then the next option is apps. Alright, now if we purchase a mobile phone, by default we will be getting YouTube, Facebook or some other applications, right? And at the same time, if I want, or maybe if we want to have a new application in our mobile phone, if I want Swiggy, if I want Zomato, or if I want to have some net banking applications, what will I do? We will be navigating to the Play Store, and then we will be clicking on install. If it is a free app, we will be downloading it and will make an use of it. And if it is a paid app, we will do some kind of transactions and we can make an use of it, right? So application is nothing but making an use of external functionality which is not given by default. It might be by Jira or it might be by our Android phone. If there is no gaming functionality in our phone, we can add some 4 to 5 games and we can play it, so that we can be getting the gaming functionality. The same thing, even the Jira have many good apps, thousands of applications. If we want to install those applications, we can make an use of this particular option, and we will be exploring this particular option on a dedicated session, maybe after 10 days or 15 days of time. So all you have to understand is that if I want to see what are all the applications that I have installed in Jira, the plugins, we can make an use of this particular option by clicking on manage your apps. And if we want to install or if we want to explore more applications, we can directly click on explore more apps and we can find the needed app and then we can install it. And do not worry about anything. As a Jira admin, we don't go by ourselves and we don't explore anything. If any team members or if any project lead, if they want to have some kind of plugins or some kind of applications, some kind of add-ons that they would like to have, if there is some request and if the request has been approved by maybe our leader, our manager or someone, then as a Jira admin, we will be going to this particular place and we will be finding that particular application and then we will be installing it. So we do not take any own decisions most probably, and we will be following whatever the request that we get on daily basis. And mostly in organizations, people will not touch applications because each organization will have maybe 10 to 20 or 30 applications, not more than that. Since each organization is already working on Jira for a very long time, all these applications or plugins has already been installed in the Jira, so we do not get much work in terms of applications. And then the next button is create. I will take some time in explaining this, which is very important in terms of Jira. So I will be skipping for this now and I will be talking about these options, and then finally we will be discussing about create button. Alright, the next option is search button. It is nothing. But in Jira, we can have issues, right? Jira is an issue tracking tool. So each and every project will have its own issues, own work items. Now, if I have 10 people under me, on regular basis, I will be giving 3 works to each people, 30. If I take 1 month, 900 works. If I take 1 year, 2 years, even in my small project, I can have thousands of issues. Now, if it is a big project and if we are working heavily, then definitely we can have lakhs of issues in Jira, right? Now, if I want to pull an issue, for each and every issue there will be an issue key. We will be discussing it later. So if I want to search for a particular issue, we can make a use of the issue key here, and then we can pull out that issue directly. So instead of going to project, instead of going to the issues that belongs to the project, instead of scrolling down the pages and finding the right issue, we can always make a use of the search bar. Just like if I want to pull some application on my mobile phone, we can directly make a use of search bar, right? The same thing applicable here. But when it comes to Jira, we can search for issues. If we have 700 projects or 1000 projects, we can search for the project. Maybe if I write some filter and if I save it, I can directly type the filter name. Maybe if we have hundreds and thousands of people in Jira, if I want to search for any people, I can even search for them, so that all the results will be populated. And whatever the recent things that I have searched, those names will be displayed here. And then the next option is notifications. Notification is nothing but, maybe we are all using Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, right? If anybody commented and tagged our name, what we will get? We will be getting the notification. Someone has tagged you in this particular post. It means if your name has been tagged on any place, you will be getting the notifications. Maybe in Facebook or Instagram, if we start watching some particular pages and if they post something, we will be getting the update, right? Someone have started a live video, something like that. So even in Jira, in any project or maybe in any issue, if we have been added as a watchers, if they add something or if they do something to that particular issue, we will be getting the notifications directly. So that is the purpose. We do have the notification bar. Nothing much important. Everybody will be very clearly aware once we have started working on creating the issues and assigning it on people name. We can see the notifications being generated here. And the next one is help. Again, it is not a regular thing that we can work on. It is simply given by Jira, where we can see maybe if we want to do some sort of certifications, or if we want to learn Jira much more, if we want to browse the complete documentations, or maybe if we want to ask something to the Atlassian community, where we can interact with all the people that are working in Jira across the globe, or if we face any issues in Jira, if we want to reach out to the support team, or if we want to give feedback, or if we want to learn the keyboard shortcuts, we can make a use of this particular button. It completely depends upon whether we can access to this button or not. It completely depends on us. Not much important, but given by Jira as a feature. Now the next important thing is settings, which is very much important to understand. Now we clearly know in Jira thousands of people will be working, right? All the 1000 people can never be same. In 1000 people, 5 people might be Jira administrators just like us. Now if I am the Jira administrator, definitely I will be adding the people, or I will be doing some sort of things that belongs to the user management, right? I can see the user management option if I do have the Jira admin privileges. Maybe I can have the billing privileges if I have given as a Jira admin. And we can see all the remaining options like system, products, projects, and few other options. We will be discussing about each and every option shortly. But all you have to understand right at the moment is that if you are the project admin, or if you are a developer, or if you are a tester, or if you are a user, or if you are in any other role, those people will never be having the access to the user management. Those people will never have the access to the billing, and those people will never have the access to issues or applications. They only can see maybe projects, or maybe they can see some personal Jira settings. They will not be able to see all these options. All these options can only be seen by the Jira admins or the system admin, and I will be explaining the difference between Jira admin and system admin in the needed time shortly. So if there are 7,000 people working in Jira, only 10 people or 15 people will have the access to these options, out of which we are going to be one among them. So if we get into any organization, we will be able to see all these options. So we will be explaining what is user management, what is billing, what is issues, what is project system, and we will be exploring it one by one. And the final thing, I do not want to touch about this particular thing much. It is just a profile and settings where we can update the email address if we want, or maybe if we want to change the logo, we can do that, and we can go ahead and explore what will be in the profile or personal settings, or if we want to log out, we can make a use of it. It is nothing much important. It is just given by any software or any, it's like a Facebook, Instagram. If we go and explore in profile and settings, we can find lot of things, right? It completely depends upon personal interest. Even if we do not touch this, nothing will happen. It's completely an optional. And this is all about the home page except the create button. Alright, and the final one that we are going to discuss in today's session is the create button. And I will be letting you know whenever I touch some topic how important is that to us. Whether is it something that we can neglect, or whether is it something that we have to focus on. So coming to your work, it is not that much important. Everybody will understand, right? It's just a normal English terminology. Coming to projects, if you want to search for any project as a Jira admin, we can make a use of it. Coming to filters, if we want to filter any issues, we can come here. And coming to dashboards, we do not touch this part much in organizations, because dashboards can be used by the project admins or developers. They will be making a use of it. As a Jira admin, we do not touch this particular part much. Coming to people, again we do not touch much. Coming to applications, as I clearly said, very few applications will be there in any organizations, and Jira is already being used in that organization, so all the applications has already been installed. So as a Jira admin, we do not touch much often, but only in times of need we will be touching this particular part. And search, we can make a use on regular basis. If we want to search for projects, instead of going here, if we want to search for filters, instead of going here, we can search for any other things directly by making a use of the search button. Now the very important thing that the Jira admin should know, and it is very much common in any organization, is the create button. What exactly a create button means. Now before talking about the create button, just a quick 30 seconds that I want to talk about projects. Jira can be called as a project management tool. So if we want to create a project, we can make a use of the project button here. We can click on create, we can follow some steps, and then we can create a project. And initially we have created one of the project before accessing the Jira homepage, and the project name is going to be At Yourself. Maybe if we create a second project, we can see the two projects in our Jira instance. Now we clearly understand what is a project management, which means in small terms or simple terms, we can see the projects in Jira. Now if I have a project in Jira, in the project admin or the project lead will create some work, right, in order to assign that work to the team members. So how a project lead or how someone can create the work, or how they can assign the work to someone else. And that is the time we can make a use of the create button. And when I click on create button, a box has been populated, and we can call it as a create issue screen. I can use the term create issue screen. That's going to be the term that I'm going to use from today. Alright, when I use the word create issue, it is nothing but creating the work item, creating some work, giving some work to someone, or maybe creating some work and assigning it on our name. It might be anything. So while we are creating the work, we have to define, right? Now Jira is a project management tool. In Jira, hundreds of projects will be there, or maybe tens of projects will be there. Out of which we have to define in which project that we are going to create the work. Now in the project section, we do have a drop down, and if I click on it, currently no options, because we have only single project till now in Jira, which is Add Yourself. Now if I create ABC project or XYZ project, I can see those names. If I have tens and hundreds of projects, I can see the list being displayed here, so that we can select the appropriate list and we can choose the right project name. Now imagine that I want to create one of the work in Add Yourself project, so that we can choose the project name. And once we select the project, before typing the work, what I want. In Jira, we do have an issue type. When we use the term issue, it is nothing but a work, right? Work item. So you are giving the work. Now maybe imagine that you are belongs to a software development project. You are the project lead of the software development. Now what kind of work that you are going to give to your team member? If any new error comes, are you going to list out the error, and are you going to ask your team member to rectify the error? Or maybe if you want to develop a new feature, are you going to assign that particular work to your team member? So we have to define the type of work. So we can call it as an issue type. By default, Jira has given few issue types. I can see task and epic, but we do have two more issue types, and I will be explaining that in tomorrow's session. Like we can see bug, we can see story, we can see epic, and we can see task. All you have to understand for today, while we are creating an issue, while we are creating an work in Jira, we have to select the type of work. And once we select the type of work, we can type what work that we are going to give as a summary. If I want to elaborate more, I can type it here, and then we can assign this particular work to anybody, or maybe on my name as well. And there are few other things that we are going to discuss in tomorrow's session. We have linked issues as flagged as something like that. We will be talking about that in tomorrow's session. All you have to know right now or today is, by creating the project, by selecting the project, and by selecting the issue type, by entering the work details, elaborating more, and assigning it to someone, by clicking on create, an issue will be created, so that the person who belongs to that issue will be working on it. Now all I have to tell you is who will be creating the issues in Jira. Now we are the Jira admins. Are we going to create the issues, or who is going to create the issues? So take it as very easy example. Jira will be having hundreds of projects, right? So always remember, anyone who have the permission to create the issues will be able to create the issues. It might be the project lead of Add Yourself, it might be the project admin of Add Yourself, or maybe it might be the project lead of some other projects. Anybody can create issues and can assign it to their own team members. Now what exactly as a Jira admin that we can do in Jira? And I will be talking about it for next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will be closing today's session. Now we understand that anybody with the permission who can create, they will be able to create the issues, right? It might be anyone. As a Jira admin, what exactly that we can do once we get into organization is that if anybody comes, or if anybody raise a ticket or a request in any place, if they say we want to have a new project in our Jira, we will be taking some details and we will be creating the project, so that the project admin will work on the project. We don't care on how they are making an use of their project. What details are they typing here in summary? What details are they typing in description? We do not even care. As a Jira admin, I have created the project. My work has been completed. A very easy activity. Now, while the project people working in their project, they have clicked on issue type, they have seen only task and epic. Maybe they belongs to software development. They want to see a new option called development here. They cannot go directly and add whatever the issue types they want or something like that. So they will be raising the request called maybe some ticket to the Jira admin. So as a Jira admin, it is our job to add a new option called development. Again, we don't care what they work by making a use of the development. All we know is we got some information. We will be adding that option so that they will be working going forward. Or maybe we can see summary, description, assignee, labels, right? Maybe imagine the project lead of EduSelf felt that they do not have any usage with the labels field. They will raise one request to Jira admins. We do not want to see labels here. So as a Jira admin, we navigate to some place and we will be removing the labels field. In the same way, they can raise one more request. We want to see one new field called feedback in our project. As a Jira admin, we will be going to some place and we will be creating a new field and we will be adding it here. So all you have to understand is that no matter how many projects that we have in our organization, if anyone raises any ticket, we want these changes in our project, we want to remove this in our project. Since they do not be giving the whole access, as a Jira admin, we will be performing those activities. So as a project admin or as the project lead of each project, they can create any work items. It might be related to coding, it might be related to development, or it might be related to construction or anything. It will be completely taken care of them and we never get into that data and we'll never have a look. So Jira administration is nothing but doing some kind of configuration changes or taking care of the Jira application, but not working in the project work or maybe developing something or like that. Everybody will be working in Jira since they do not have much access to anything. As a Jira admin, we will be doing that. Because if we want to add the issue type task or something, the project admins or anyone, they do not have the access to the global level called issues. Only Jira admins will have access to it. I clearly told you, right? Out of thousands of users, only 10 to 15 users will be having the access. Since we do have that particular access, if any project people ask anything, we will be navigating to the global level and then we will be making the changes. So for today, all you have to understand is that a work item can be created by making a use of the blue button, and a work item can be created by the people who have the create issue permissions. Probably the project leads and admins will have those permissions. And today we have learned that as a Jira admin, if we want to make any changes on this particular page or maybe related to any kind of configurations, we will be doing that. So in tomorrow's session, we will be learning on how to create a new project so that we can see the project here. And in tomorrow's session, we will be seeing how to create a new issue type and associate to that particular project. We will be seeing those options here.